It's always some white man in my DMs who is just like, if only you didn't hate on Trump, then maybe I could show you a good time. Stay away from me, white man!
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on the program today. I appreciate it very, very much. I don't know why I look so dark. Probably one of my filters is screwed up. Hold on, let me go to my filters. Why do I look so dark? You think I'd know what I'm doing after, I don't know, forever doing this? That didn't help. I'm still ugly. Damn it. Nothing I do will make me look any prettier than I am right now. I apologize. I rarely go on I used to go out and look for, if you guys watch my channel when I first started about 5.5 years ago, I'd say, okay, I want to talk about X today. And I would go out and find a topic and things that would support my thinking. And then I would share it with you guys. But, over the last, few years, I've found something and I say, okay, I would find something and then I would say, okay, I'm going to talk about this. In other words, I used to go looking for the news. Now the news is given to me, if that makes any sense. And over the last, month or so, couple weeks, I noticed a trend that is happening in society today. Now, if you're familiar with a movie that came up with the term gaslighting, I think the movie was called Gaslight, wasn't it? Something like that. Anyway, husband was trying to convince his wife he was going crazy and he'd adjust the brightness of the gas lights, because lights used to be gas back in the day, not electric, and he'd brighten them up and darken them, and she'd think she was going crazy after a little while. And so that's where the term gaslighting came up, because gaslighting is when, for example, I would gaslight somebody else to make them think they're crazy. But something new is happening, and it's very weird, and it's happening from feminists. It's happening from the left. It is happening in the Democrats. It is happening in news media, where they lie to you until the point they drive themselves insane. And that sounds weird to me. It even sounds weird coming out of my mouth. But what's happening is they're starting to believe their own propaganda, their own lies, their own craziness, because they're doing it for validation and attention and to drive their point home. And they're messing themselves up with it. And it's a very strange thing to see. I will be getting to this particular lady and the image, but I have 50 other examples. I have a ton of examples today. So this may go a little bit longer than usual on YouTube. It'll be normal length for us on Rumble and Locals, because I do hour long quite often. But for YouTube, I usually chop it up into 15, 20 minutes. I found a workaround for me having to edit the living hell out of myself over on YouTube. I just put, instead of entertainment, I put myself as news. And apparently, if you put yourself as news, you can say all the bad words and they don't really care so much, which is awesome. So I guess I'm going to be, let me bring my light closer so I'm at least a little better lit. I guess I'm going to be news from now on. You'll laugh a little bit, I think. I know some of you want to cheer yourselves up recently, but we'll get to this lady in just a moment. Before we get into all of the madness, I do want to make sure I'm going to give little reminders here, because I am all about boycotting at this point in my life. Never shall I touch Coke or Ben & Jerry's ice cream or Oreos or Gillette razors or 500 other products and companies that I just keep in my rusty steel trap brain that I will never touch again. And unfortunately, Sucker Punch is now another one. And so I just thought I'd put this out there for you guys, because a lot of you want to know this, so you can make sure the people you like get your money and the people you hate don't get your money. Ghost of Yotai, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Ghost of Yotai, facing a boycott after the dev's controversial tweet mocking Charlie Kirk's death. And the Sucker Punch said, we're not going to do anything about this, because, of course, we know most of these game developers now support this stuff. Bud Light's another one, yes. Thank you for that. Anyway, so if you have any interest in boycotting things, Ghost of Yotai and Sucker Punch Studios, there's another to add to your list, because they were apparently perfectly fine with saying untrue, horrible things about Charlie. I just thought I'd put that out there for you. Okay, so this is a picture that I found online, And of course, this has to do with a Handmaid's Tale and everything else. And then the top photo, you see a woman that is being oppressed because the boot is on her head, holding her down. And of course, the camera zooms back and she's holding the boot on her own head. This is what's going on. Is the top photo is for social media. The bottom one's what's really happening. But the problem is that they all get in these circles of crazy people. They all try to amp each other up. And even though it's an instance where somebody will post something, they know it's not true. Somebody else will post something, they know it's not true. Somebody else will post something, they know it's not true. But the uploader knows it's not true, but everybody else thinks their story is the true one, even though they're uploading lies as well. So to make a very simple breakdown, imagine 20 people, all 20 people know they're lying. They all share lies about one person and they call him a horrible person, and they all know they're lying. But after they've said their lie, they believe the other 19 people, even though all 19 people are lying. That is what's happening right now, and it is driving people absolutely insane. I've got a few screen grabs. I have a few videos, and at the end of this, I'm going to talk about the news. I'm going to talk about how media is doing it. The news is doing it. Our politicians are doing it, and maybe about what's going to be done. So make sure to hang around for that, because that is the good news. There is some good news to this. But I want to show you that it starts with the crazies at the bottom and ends at the crazies at the top. But at the same time, it's starting at the crazies at the top and ending at the crazies at the bottom. Okay. Here's a good example. This is a gal who's got chest tattoos and face piercings, a face tattoo, big hoop earrings, and she's very, very unattractive. Let's just put it that way. And she says, making sure my feminist bangs are short enough that men stay far away from me. This is what I'm talking about, right? They're messing themselves up, and they say, well, I do this to keep men away from the... Men are not coming up to talk to pretty women. Men are not going up to talk to normal women. Men are certainly not coming up to talk to you. But they do this thing where they say, I'm doing this to keep all those bad men. Who else is with me? And other women say, oh, me too. Let me see if I can find the other. Okay, here's another great example. I don't know what this is. I don't know which direction this person is trying to travel in. I don't know where I don't know if they was born one way and going the opposite direction is 100% true, but I don't know who they started as. You know what I mean? I don't know which direction they're trying to go with their whatever. The face piercings, the green hair, the face tattoos. And just so you know, I do not date Trump supporters. Now, we know this person is not dating Trump supporters. We know Trump supporters would not date this person. But they're putting this statement out to the world to virtue signal that we're on the same tribe, that we believe the same things. Look, everybody, pay attention to me. I hate insert thing as much as you do. And so we're all together. And in the meantime, none of it matters. All of it is nonsense. This is where I'll take things that didn't happen for $1,000, Alex, which is from Jeopardy, the old TV show before Alex died of cancer, unfortunately. And you will see, once again, this is exactly what we talk about. Things that didn't happen for 1,000, but they must virtue signal to make themselves relevant, to make themselves feel good, to make themselves so that people pay attention to them. And all the other weirdos, all these weirdos believe each other. We don't believe them. We're the ones they're trying to gaslight, and we're the ones that don't believe them. Only people that are believing this are the ones that are trying to gaslight America, gaslight everybody else. And it's just not working. But they get themselves into these rabid circles of self-eating wolves, of self-eating is not the right word, but the pack will circle itself, feral and all agreeing on everything. And the first wolf that wants to step out They go after that one. That's the first one they cannibalize.
The other day I went to a restaurant with my girlfriend and my 4-year-old, and the server came up and said, "Hello, ladies," and proceeded to take our drink order. And as soon as the server left, my 4-year-old looked at me and just gasped and was like, "They called you a lady." She also corrected a family member the other day who she heard me and just went, "They, them, they, them, they, them," over and over again until they acknowledged her. All that to say, if my freshly 4-year-old can figure out pronouns, so can your shitty boomer parents. No more excuses.
Okay. At 3 years old, even if you do drive that into somebody's head, at freshly four, so we're going to call it barely 4 years old, they're not going around correcting people. And now, maybe they are crazy enough to do that. I don't think a 4-year-old's correcting an adult. I just don't. I don't believe it. But you're going to tell me they're correcting family members, they're correcting strangers. No, it's just pay attention to me, everybody. Look how well I am manipulating and indoctrinating my children. Pay attention to me. Things that don't happen. That is kind of a big theme. Actress, and this is an actress that I've seen her in stuff before. Boy, is she looking rough today. Kira Sedgwick talks about how afraid she is that Trump is in office. "I'm pretty scared about a lot of things. Scared about losing my rights as a woman." Didn't happen during his first term. He hasn't talked about it in his second term. Why would you think that? Scared about losing my right to vote as a woman. Not one conservative, not one. Now, I talk about it, but I'm not really conservative now, am I? I am a whole other lump of human being. I don't see myself as a Republican, certainly not a MAGA. Scared about losing my right to vote as a woman. No one's talking about that. No one's saying, I mean, I am, but I mean, no politicians, no one in actual power is saying repeal the 19th. So this isn't going to happen. Scared about losing my autonomy over my body as a woman. In other words, fearing of losing her rights to delete her baby. She's worried about losing her rights to delete her baby if she gets pregnant.
Oh, wait, you serious?
Yeah, you're not having any babies. I'm just saying. So even if conservatives did come out and remove your right to have children, delete them. It's not a you problem. So what does she do? She comes out, she makes a big public statement. Oh, I'm being persecuted by people that aren't even talking about the things I'm going to make up out of my own head for no apparent reason. That is what is happening. Thing didn't happen. I'm protesting against thing that did not happen. Do all of you agree with me that we should all protest the things that aren't happening? That is literally where we are with these dingbats. And the reason why I say this has so much to do with feminists is, if you remember, feminists came out and they said, we want equality. Oh, well, you have that now. Actually, more women are graduating in higher education. In 47 or 48 out of the top biggest 50 cities in the United States, women are out earning men. So we're good now, right? No, the patriarchy controls well, that doesn't work anymore, does it? Feminists wanted equality. When they got equality, they wanted superiority. When women got superiority, they said that's not enough. Now we need to free Palestine and we need to make sure that black people are equal. Okay, I'm fine with that. Affirmative action's been doing that for, I don't know how many years. Longer than I've probably been alive, or just as long as. That's not good enough. Now when you point out, okay, well, actually acceptance rates for men and whites are actually lower than minorities. Like if you're part of the LGHD TV community, or you're a minority, or you're a woman, you get into college and a job a lot easier than men, and more specifically white men. Not saying anything against my brothers out there. I know you got it tough, and I know you run into issues that me as a white dude doesn't. I get that. But the point is now that they say, we need more. Okay, well, now the acceptance rates for minorities and LGBT and women and all the rest of it are higher than men. Are we good now? No. Charlie Kirk said this thing. Conservatives are the real threat. Like they just have to, there's no point where they're going to say, I'm good. We're good. Because it's not about being good. It's about getting power. It's about having all the power. And when they have all the power, that's still not good enough. Now that's what's going to happen. And you'll see this theme in all this stuff, all of this stuff. She's trying to take power over men by chopping off her hair. Men don't want her. Whatever. Men aren't trying to date her. I'm taking my power back from men. Men don't have any power over you. I'm not going to date Trump supporters. Trump supporters don't. I'm taking my control back from the Trump men. They don't want you. It doesn't matter. I'm taking control back. I'm scared of the National Guard. No, you're not. Well, it's always the same thing over and over and over again.
For the
you'll notice a rolling theme here, by the way. Nose piercing, face piercing. Nose piercing, face piercing. I don't know if this gal, nose piercing, face piercing. This gal, I can't see her profile picture. Probably nose piercing, face piercing. Septum piercing, nose piercing, face piercing, lip piercing, and eyebrow piercing. It's always, they mark themselves. They mark themselves like wearing a scarlet letter. They wear a scarlet letter on their vest to shame themselves. But I want you to, again, hear how none of these things happen, but I'm going to say they happen, and now we need to fight against the thing that didn't happen.
PTSD is all fun and games too. Like, people joke about it and they'll, say they have it when they don't. But real PTSD, I have complex PTSD.
You don't even understand, guys. You don't even understand. PTSD is bad enough. I don't have PTSD. I have complex PTSD. That is more complex and more bad and more than just PTSD, everybody. Pay attention to me.
And my nervous system doesn't know the difference between my doorbell ringing and my life being in imminent danger.
She apparently is my dog. She's a dog, everybody. She doesn't know the difference between the doorbell ringing and my life being in imminent danger. She's a chihuahua, everybody.
Okay, my body releases cortisol both ways.
Now, if you ask her, how do you know you have PTSD? Well, I looked it up online, and I'm self-diagnosed. Do you know how many of these weirdos say that, self-diagnosed? You would not believe the number of people. I have self-diagnosed insert problem, so everybody pay attention to me. I'm such a victim. Love me, pay attention to me. I'm just like you. I'm traumatized.
And we are bringing up an entire generation of kids that feel that way because they're being in class. And so many people in the Middle East that do not deserve what our bombs are doing and what our money is funding. And it's not until you guys speak up that we will see change. White men only listen to white men. You are the only people who can hold each other accountable.
So she goes on this weird diatribe telling white men to listen to white men because we're the only ones that whatever. But you notice she's worked herself up into tears over an imaginary story she just made up in her head. And now she's crying about the imaginary story she just made up in her head. See, that's the thing, Shirty says, is this video about the Middle East or her bullshit? We don't know what this video is about. I have no idea. It's basically, but here's a question. This is important. She says right here, it's not until you guys speak up we change. White men only listen to white men. There was a white guy I used to listen to a lot, and he was trying to change other people's minds. Guess what happened to him? I'm just saying.
Some reason.
Another example. Now, this is my favorite of all of them, is this type of thing. My hair makes MAGA so mad. Let me say that again. My hair makes MAGA conservatives so mad for some reason. What? How do you... Remember, this is my whole point of this video. Thing didn't happen. Thing is not happening. I'm doing this thing to fight back against the thing that is not happening. Join me, everybody, in becoming an insane, deranged lunatic and help me fight back against the thing I just made up. We need to stop the thing I just made up. So join me in making and fighting the thing that didn't happen. A genuine question, and I mean this from the bottom of my pimply ass. How do you find commonality? How do you maintain a society? How do you bring people back from this? How do you have reasonable dialogue from this? Because these people are amping up all the other weirdos, all the other people just like them. How do we bring them back into a cohesive society? And if you say, I don't think we can, maybe we should put them in an insane asylum.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
That was my fault. I got too many fun buttons to push. I pushed the wrong one 7 times in a row. Yes, we have to. But when social media allows you to just make up anything, that's what ultimately ended Charlie Kirk's life, because people just take clips out of content and they make things up and they post it online and they say, we must destroy this man for the things that he didn't actually say, but I make it sound like he said them. And this is what's driving the left nuts.
For some reason, my long...
Let me juice the volume on this a little bit.
For some reason, my long, unkempt hair makes MAGA men really, really angry on the internet. And
No. Just no. My unkempt hair, says the woman that kind of looks like it's cut and brushed and it's clean and it kind of has nice waves in it. Oh, everybody, she's got messy hair. I'm MAGA and I'm letting you know that I do not like your hair. Did you know that? I'm specifically telling you I am MAGA and your hair drives me crazy. Same thing with all my other MAGA friends. All my other MAGA, we talk like this. They don't know this. We actually talk like this. Even if you're not MAGA, even if you're not, I don't know, make America great again. Even if you're not conservative, this is how men talk today. Me and all the other MAGA guys at the MAGA meeting, I showed your picture to all my MAGA friends and you're driving us crazy. The MAGA guys. What are these people doing? They're lunatics.
makes them want to leave mean comments about my hair, which is just so funny because anytime they leave a mean comment, it just makes me love it even more and realize how fucking good I look. It's giving what it's supposed to be giving.
MAGA men are not in her comments. Her content is not being shown in the algorithm to MAGA men. But notice what she does at the end of it. Do you notice what she does at the end of it? This is what I keep telling everybody about. This is where the madness starts. This is where the cancer starts to spread from. She uses the imaginary MAGA haters to compliment herself and to make herself feel better and to show the world how beautiful she is because something didn't happen.
It just makes me love it even more and realize how fucking good I look. It's giving what it's supposed to be giving.
Okay. You know, you'd make a much shorter, faster post if you said, my imaginary friend Becky told me they love my hair. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. This one's kind of a funny one. I had reminder, you never had a chance anyways. Big girls wouldn't even look your way, goober. Spoiler alert, number 1, we don't care if we have a chance. No one wants you. Number 2, big girls won't even look our way, goober. I'm going to mute this because it probably has cringe music. And they make this story up. Everybody wants me, but you can't have me. Everybody wants me. I'm so hot and sexy, and you goobers can't have me. Na, 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 na. There's your music. There's your music for that.
It's always some white man in my DMs who is just like, if only you didn't hate on Trump, then maybe I could show you a good time.
Spoiler alert. Number 1, no. Secondly, also never happened, no.
Stay away from me, white man! It's all...
Okay. So apparently all the MAGA men really want to get with her in her comments.
It's always some white man in my DMs who is just like, if only you didn't hate on Trump, then maybe I could show you a good time. Stay away from me, white man!
Virtue signaling. Virtue signaling to something that never happened. Do you see the theme? Do you see the theme? Virtue signaling to something that never actually happened just so they can go viral and get attention from people. You know, back in my day, we paid attention to people like bodybuilders and athletes and chess players. Bobby Fischer, anybody? Or Josh Waitzkin, another chess player. Tennis pros, quarterbacks, baseball players, because they did something that we all wanted to do. And they did something that was hard, that took years of training and practice. Whether it was studying with the mind, whether it's being an athlete, whether it's doing something that is awesome. That's who got the attention. But now today, because these bunch of weirdo losers have never actually accomplished anything in their lives, they've discovered it's easier to get attention by just saying, pay attention to me, everybody. This bad thing happened to me, and oh, this is awful, and pay attention to me. And people paid attention. And then other losers that will never accomplish or do anything with their lives said, hey, I want attention too. Bad thing happened to me too that didn't actually exist, but I made it up, but I want you to pay attention to me. And they got attention. And before you know it, you have a bunch of losers running around furiously patting each other on the back to feel better about their miserable, awful lives. And it becomes a spiral down into madness. I'm not even going to play this video. I'm just going to read it. Just a brown girl in the UK right now sat in the train station watching people walk by, wondering who's racist and who isn't. Well, I got news for you. You don't have to, all you have to do is spin around. There's a big glass window behind me, or behind you. Just spin around. There's a big glass window. Angle yourself properly, and you can see your own reflection. And then, well, then you've found the actual racist you need to worry about. I just noticed something. One hand is up to her mouth, chewing her nails in performative nervousness. Her second hand is like tucked here underneath her arm. Who's holding the camera? Who's holding the camera? Or did you go out of your way to find a place to set up your camera, to sit down and film yourself biting your nails and looking nervous? You're an actress in your own mind. They must do it. All of them do it, up to and including our politicians. Now that other stuff is why you can't date anybody. That other stuff is why women are unapproachable from end wokeness. Now, this is where it gets into the politics, and this is where it gets scary, you guys. Representative Jasmine Crockett believes 80% of the most violent crime in our country is white supremacy. Seriously. This is where it gets scary when they make things up and they say, here's some statistics. They don't say this, but this is the truth of it. Here are statistics that I made up in my own head, and this is why we have to change society, our laws, and the rules of the last 250 years of our country because of something I just made up in my head that sounds good when it comes out of my mouth, even though 100% of it is not true.
And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within.
Spoiler alert, everybody. I Googled it. But I will show you something that's interesting. I used Grok to search. You guys can crap on AI all day. It makes my job very easy and much easier. But I will tell you something. While Grok was looking at information, it said, let's search for the latest stats focusing on 2023 or 2024. Now, here's what's key. And this is very important for you to understand, because as we fight the war against the crazies and the misinformation, you need to know what we're talking about. Recent searches, and this is as Grok is thinking, it tells you what it's looking at out loud. It just does this thing, and it says, let's search for this. This is what I'm finding. This looks at this. This looks at this. It says recent searches haven't found direct race breakdowns for recent years, meaning a lot of major cities have stopped tracking crime by race. You mean it makes it harder to break down who's doing things? There's no category for LGHD TV violence. There's no breakdown. Many times they don't record the race of the person. It's almost as if there's a reason why. Now, here again, it's thinking more. I grabbed these screenshots as it was thinking. I quickly grabbed screenshots. It says, thinking, now searching for the latest arrest data by race for violent crimes. The FBI Crime Data Explorer didn't yield results. So let's try Wikipedia. So the FBI's own Crime Data Explorer didn't find results. That means the FBI isn't even tracking this information. Now it's look, for my brothers out there, you guys know I love you. No hate against you, but we do know most crime in cities is done by scholars and gentlemen, future engineers, or young men, minorities that live in ghettos, that are on government assistance, that don't have fathers in the home, and they have single mothers that are usually on welfare. I mean, statistically, it's correct. So those young men don't have positive male role models. Those young men don't have positive male friends, those young men, when they try to actually better themselves through education, they get a lot of pushback. And that's just a thing. But my point is, this doesn't help anybody fix any problems. When you're like, well, it's saying there's a lot of young black men that have problems, let's just stop. Let's stop noticing, and that way we don't have to report. How about you actually do something like trying to help these young black men? How about you actually do something to help the communities? Because, our politicians are always saying, vote for us and we'll make change. Specifically, in many of these cities, they've had Democrat-run cities for 60, 70, 80 years, and they keep saying, the system's institutionally racist. My dude, you've had control of the system for 80 years. That's kind of telling, and also you're not fixing it. Anyway, what are the stats? Now, this is not by per capita. I didn't pull the capita because she didn't say per capita. She did not say per capita. She just said the majority are done by white supremacists. Number of arrests, white, 209,000. 60%, 59.1%. That is understandable considering we're, somewhere between 60 and 70% of the people in this country. Black or African American. It's funny, they say that. Black or African American. Isn't that the same thing? Or has something changed again? I don't know. Anyway, 129,000 or 36%. American Indian or Alaska Native, 2.3, Asian, 1.6, etc. Now, she said 80%, where now she's high by 21%. But she didn't just say white. She said white supremacists, and she said they're in the administration working for the government. I don't know about that. Did you know that Jewish people are proud to say that they are different than Caucasians? Jewish is both a religion and a bloodline. They're classified as white people when it comes to crime. Did you know Muslims and Middle Easterners are also recorded as whites, including Arabs and Persians? So in many cases, if you've got a Allahu Akbar, if you have an Aloha snack bar that commits a crime, say he blows up a church or something, not only do they record it as a white person, they record it as a right-wing attack. I'm not kidding. Look it up. So when they use these statistics and they say, it's those evil white conservatives. Well, a Muslim blowing up a Christian church counts as a white conservative by their definition. Go look at what the ADL says and you'll realize, okay, that's why everything's screwed up. They twist the information so that when something bad happens, they can point to stats and then they say, actually, it's white men that are bad. I'm going to jump past the last couple of these because we've been going on for a long time. But I will kind of give this is where we're going to get into the FTC and some other stuff. And actually, I have something by Charlie Kirk I want to say as well. Anyway, Daniel Negreanu, if you know who Daniel Negreanu is, he's a poker player. And he says, important life lesson I've learned to be vigilant about. If I see a clip on social media or someone speaking, I require myself to find the full, unedited clip for context. A short clip is often used to fit a narrative and paint a false picture. And when you see the full clip, you see that it was edited dishonestly to enrage you. Then I see how many repost and parrot the narrative. But if they look into it, they would realize they're parroting a falsehood. I've been guilty of that, like many of us. But when I saw the full video of some of the clips I believed to be true, they were eye-opening to say the least. Be skeptical of any clip you see that cuts a speaker short. Find the context before and after the comment for the full and true picture. Now, he stated this back on September 17th, which is actually today. Let me refresh this and see if, and it's got 730, I'll throw a like on there. Because what Daniel's saying is, he says, you know something, I realize something. We're being manipulated by the stories that are being told to us by the crazy people that aren't to be believed. We're being given information that isn't true, and it's a lie, but it sounds so believable that we get all mad and enraged, and then we might not believe the truth anymore. And when you've got a very intelligent guy, I've heard Daniel Negreanu speak. He's an intelligent guy. He's good at reading people because he plays poker. And when you have somebody like that say, wow, man, I got caught by a lot of these clips. I got suckered by a lot of these clips. You realize how far down the rabbit hole goes. This lady, I'm just going to play a moment of this because this shows you the demoralization of a society. If you don't know who Yuri Bezmenov is, he gave out a lecture, I believe, ironically, in the year 1984. It might have been 85, 86. You can find it on the web. It is a long listen, not exceptionally long, 45 minutes or so, but it's 45 minutes to an hour. And Yuri Bezmenov explains what happened in Soviet Russia, where people are just so indoctrinated and fed so many lies for so long, you cannot save them. They're done. They are permanently broken. And he, as a matter of fact, he said, the only way they ever come to realize the truth is when the boot is crushing their own neck. And that is why when you hear these people speaking like this and you get on the internet and furiously fight with them and upload clip after clip of Charlie or Trump or anybody, the full-length clip, they'll never believe it, even if they're proven to be wrong. Cenk Uygur this week on Piers Morgan doing an interview referenced the both sides. And he said Trump was saying these nice things about neo-Nazi. Literally the both sides argument, even though it's been disproven by CNN, finally came out and admitted it was a lie. Years after the fact, Axios, Snopes, all the hardest left-wing news fact-checking organizations, finally, after the election's over, finally, after it can't hurt Trump's re-elections, they came out and they said, you know something? Actually, this isn't true. And this week, in the year of our Lord, 2025, Cenk Uygur, a news personality, a man that tells the news and shares the news, tried to do the both sides argument again. There's no fixing these people. Anyway, I'm not going to play the whole thing. This is 2 minutes. Anyway, she says, I'm scared. We are scared. Do they not have the full transcript? No. Okay, I'm going to have to play a little bit of this. This is about Charlie and all of his hateful hate-mongering on the black community.
It's been an absolutely horrible week. And I feel bad. I feel bad for that man's wife and the children. I do. But
the minute you say, but, you're getting to justification territory and you're nuts.
I do. But I don't think people understand how seeing so many people venerate a person who would say the things that this man said about black people, seeing them put him on a pedestal and seeing people get fired because they simply said, I'm not celebrating it, but I'm not going to give it my focus.
Okay, so do you see the twisting in real time? It's happening right now. She's doing it to herself. So she is justifying the murder of Charlie Kirk because he was racist and he said bad things about women and blah, blah, blah. You could go on YouTube and search Charlie Kirk like I did and find this clip. Charlie Kirk is talking to a single mother, a black single mother, somebody that I kind of make fun of, and you do too, because she's a young single mom. And we say, you know what? You mess around with the wrong dude, he's going to bolt, he's going to leave you in a bad place, and now you're a ward of the government, and now my taxes have to support this woman. She should have chosen a better man. She should have made better decisions in her life. That's my take on it. My take is 100 times worse than Charlie's take on it. And if they'll end Charlie's life for his take, God help everybody else.
Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full blown more like conservative or moderate is just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody. That is just beautiful.
Thank you. But something that like I've seen like welfare has like really.
All right. And he goes down and talks about actually the real problem we have is the lack of fathers in the home. I'm just going to pull it forward a little bit until he's speaking.
American dream.
The number one objective of any social welfare program should be how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family. Yes. That is the number one priority. We don't have to overthink it. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around.
So the man that they're saying is vile and racist and all these things. Now, I don't know about you, but you don't just switch on hate and hate on race back and forth. Like it's not an on and off switch that I've ever heard of. Number one, he would tell his, whoever sets up the microphone, whoever sets up his debates, he'd say, I don't want to speak to her. No, nah. She's the wrong color. She's a single mom. I don't care. He'd say that. He would at no point invite her to a microphone, listen seriously to what she says, say that she's beautiful, and that her child that has been abandoned by the father, or that she kicked out of the child's life, that there's no way that a bad person would say that is a gift from God. Understand that somebody makes up something like all these women have. Every post I've shown you today, lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Ultimately, it starts with women saying a stupid lie to make them feel better. And it escalates. We need to be against men. And it escalates. We hate white people. And it escalates. We hate straight people. And it escalates. We hate conservatives. And it escalates. And it escalates. And it escalates. Lie after lie, snowballing all the way to the end, to where they ended a man's life that calls black people beautiful and a gift of God, their babies. And the lie spread so deeply because of all of this that he lost his life. I don't know if they're going to do anything more. I don't know what'll come of it, but I want you to understand this goes in two directions right now. The weirdos at the bottom are spitting their vile and spinning themselves into craziness, and they go out and protest, and they go out and riot, and they go out and do all these awful things. And then it's coming down from the top, whether it's Soros, whether it's the Democrat Party and Act Blue, whether it's politicians spitting money down to the crazies to help them rise up. And you end up with it coming both directions. Money is coming down. The directives are coming down. They're finding the crazy people at the bottom. The crazy people are bubbling up and they're doing protests. And that's how you have Tesla gas stations. how you have Tesla car dealerships getting firebombed. That's how you have thousands of Americans getting their Teslas keyed. That's how you're having monuments being pulled down from statues. That's how you're having Molotovs being thrown into federal buildings. It's why you're having churches being burned down. It's why you're having Free Palestine people locking hands and closing traffic. All of this starts at the top and the bottom, and it starts with the people that are trying to gaslight you and end up gaslighting themselves and believing their own lies when we still see the truth. If you're not a supporter on betterbachelor.locals.com, links are down below. You can become a supporter/member for literally less than a cup of Starbucks coffee. You can come on over, buy me a coffee or a beer, a cold one, if you would like. And you get to get in on our community. We do tons of fun things tonight, as a matter of fact. Where's my other thumbnail? Tonight we've got See You next Tuesday. We've got classic, underrated, nostalgic television. We watch football games on Sundays. We watch movies on Saturday nights. We watch UFC on Saturday nights sometimes. We do a bunch of different streams. It is an awesome community of like-minded dudes, and we have a great time. We have an absolutely great time, and you support my work, and you get in a place where there's no bots, and I'm the only moderator, and we can pretty much talk about the issues today. So if you want to try and join a great community of like-minded men, come on over and join us today. I'd appreciate it if you would. Yes, tonight we are going to be doing the classic, underrated, nostalgic television as per usual. And this Saturday we'll be honoring Robert Redford. He passed this week at the age of 89. So we'll do a movie or two of his, and we will be enjoying ourselves. All right, gang, I will leave it there. I appreciate you joining me very much, and we will see you in the next one.